Good afternoon, everyone.
Hello, Coach.
Okay. I'm coming from a background of being a teacher. When you ask a question, you get a response. Big match on Saturday. One cannot exaggerate or highlight it more. The biggest match in the calendar of the South African League or in Africa. As Orlando Pirates, we have prepared well. We want to perform as usual. We want to win the game. Not easy to win the match. These matches are not decided by the history, but one can only highlight that we have played 27 games and the opponents have played 17. I just hope that doesn't become a factor in the result. Our science department have done a good job in recovering the data and everything else. So we're prepared to play the match on Saturday. Hopefully we'll perform and get the result.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Preparation started today. We had a regen session today. From the players' perspective, we're looking forward to the match. It's always exciting, playing a big match such as this. But the level of experience that we've accumulated, throughout the years, we know how to stay within the plan. We know how to focus, on the day-to-day basis and make sure that we go out there and we perform to the best of our abilities. But preparation started today and let's see how things go.
Thank you. As per norm, we've got a roving mic. Please identify yourself as well as the media company represented prior to asking a question. Are there any questions? By show of hands, don't start. Any questions?
From Sports Coach. This is one of age-wise, the average age is 20 among the younger players. How do you then guard against them being overwhelmed by the occasion, looking at the likes of Nkota, the likes of Relay, this being a big occasion, and on the other side they also have the young players, so it could be one of the youngest derbies we've had in a long time.
It's impressive what our team has done. In one match we played 7 DDC players. The opponents are also doing the same. For me, the experience that they've gathered in us playing in Africa and playing them against the biggest teams in Africa, I think it's enough experience. I don't see them being overshadowed by the moment. We believe in them, the coach trusts them. If given an opportunity, I'm sure they will perform.
Any other questions? We'll take the next 3 set of questions. Starting for us, are there any other questions so that I don't keep asking in between questions? I'm sure no one is here to listen to me, so. Noted. Anyone else? Thank you. Let's go.
John from News 24. Coach, at some point, the team struggled to get like a consistent number one for someone who's been here a long time. But since Chen has come of age, he's been showing that consistency. In terms of what has been key in that period of the super Chen that arrived at Pirates to the one that he is now as one of the best goalkeepers in the country, how do you guys get to?
Maybe without highlighting individuals, I think generally there's been a growth within the structures of the club. Individual players, team performances, players in the national team. For me, the highlight is young players being promoted into the senior team. Generally, there's been positive image and positive changes within the club setup. And Sipho is no different. His growth can be attributed to the way the team is training, the goalkeeper coach, a lot of factors that are happening that are positive in terms of turning things around for the better within the club. So for me, it's generally the improvement in the structure, management, the recruitment of players. It's a lot of factors. I cannot highlight one factor that has made him what he is. I agree with you, there's been growth, but like it's happening with a lot of players.
Next question. Please keep it short.
Good day, Coach. Very nice to hear something with you. Coach, you just mentioned the highlights being the fact that young players are dominating now between the two clubs. Considering that in the opposition, Coach Jose Ribeiro has worked with some of the young players from Kaizer Chiefs and the current All-Stars club. Does that come as an advantage in preparing for the game as well, knowing that he's familiar with some of the top players from Kaizer Chiefs as well? Thank you.
I'm not too sure whether it gives an advantage, the fact that he has seen them. I think it will be between the game plans, the players, how they adapt, how they give their effort on the match. I doubt that those will be factors that can make the difference between the two teams. He knows them, but I don't think he has seen them in training in terms of preparation. For us is to focus on ourselves, analyze what is in front of us, but again, on the day, players have to execute whatever is planned. So I don't think that will be a big factor in him having worked with the players in the Carling Cup All-Stars game.
Good morning, afternoon, Coach and skipper. I just want to talk about this game, Coach, because besides being the derby, after all, it's a big game where you also have to close the gap between yourselves and Sundowns, and especially now with the Champions League finally resuming. I would say end of next month, in fact end of March. How important is to use this period between now and then to launch a serious and strong challenge for that top spot?
There's so many competitions that our club has been involved in. If we were to try and look at all those dynamics, I think we'll lose focus. What helps the team to stay focused is looking at the next match, analyze the opponents, prepare who is ready to play, and perform and try and win the match. I think that has helped us. So Kaizer Chiefs, we see a team that is an opponent where we need points, and we're just going there to try and get 3 points. Where the points are taking us is something else that is not calculated within. For us, try and play and try and win the next match. That's all we're focusing on.
Take the next batch of 3 questions. And please note the captain is available for questions as well. Noted, who else? Other than Mandla, who else hasn't had an opportunity yet? Noted. Third hand? Okay, Mr. Okay, Mr. Sir. Noted.
Coach, from Coach, as Pirates, few players have left during this window, and we don't know if there are any that are going to join before the close of the window today. But looking at the squad and what's still to come, are you happy with, let me say, the quality, the size of the squad? Because there's injuries, there's suspensions that are still going to come for the rest of the season, and if you're not adding now, do you have enough?
Coaches are very greedy. They're always looking for players that are not there. We try and focus on what we have. I think we have enough quality within the club. Like I said earlier, you'll always look for something more. But if there is anything on the market that management and the coaches feel it's necessary, we'll add that. For fear of the competition in the market, and you don't disclose such intentions, because then you'll have some competition that is unnecessary. So if it happens, it's good for the team, but we'll wait and see.
Coach, Benjamin, mine is back to the game. Looking at the 2 teams or the 2 squads that will be playing on Saturday, where do you think the game can be won? Is it in the defense, the midfield, or which department do you think, if we control this department, then we have the advantage of winning?
Maybe I should respond by using the stats so that I can try to be correct. The margins between the two teams are very narrow. Defensively, we're almost similar. Chance creation, we are similar. But the only difference is on goals conceded. They've conceded more, but every other state is equal, if I were to use stats. So one, the margins between the two teams are not as big except for the log position and the goals conceded. So we'll try and focus on what we think we're doing better than them where we have conceded less. But again, we must remember it's a derby. Form, records don't work. It's what happens on the day. And we'll try focus on our performances so that we can get a result.
Coach Amir, you need to news.
Those.
I just want to find out from you as coaches, what do you tell the players, especially when you're going to play a big match, to tell them to unleash an unrestricted and aggressive attack, or they must just go for the jugular?
Maybe lessons also one that has picked up from Jose. He just has a game plan based on the analysis, strengths and weaknesses of opponents. It's information that we get from the science department who is ready. What is the data saying? We choose players in terms of that, the game plan on weaknesses of opponents, but we normally don't go further than that. Hence, it becomes a game where players are trying to execute a game plan. If they do that, we win matches. If we limit opponents on their strengths, we normally perform. I think we don't want to exaggerate and create unnecessary hype around things that don't need such. Hence, I have learned that it even gives players a better feel of just being prepared for the match. What are the strengths? What are the weaknesses? Individual players, and we focus on that. I don't think this game will be any different.
Okay. Thank you, Coach. Are there any other questions? We'll take the final 3 questions. Selma. Okay, there's a hand right behind. Okay, start with that hand. Can't make out who it is. Sorry. Apologies.
Thanks, good afternoon, Coach. How disappointing was it, Coach, not to have the previous match in the league go ahead as it was postponed? Looking at the fact that you go into this one with the team above your Sundowns on 6 points, while it could have been different had that game happened. Thank you.
From what I've picked up, there was no disappointment. In fact, for me, personally, I thought it was a relief. If you look at the number of games that we have gathered, like I said earlier, we have played 27 games, including traveling, and the opponents have played 17. If there's an opportunity where players can get rest, why not? We want our players fresher. They really need recovery, while the science department is doing everything in their power, and the players personally are doing it. So if we can get rest, why not? But again, it's tough for us to have human beings like our players, including the travel, including the training sessions, the number of training sessions. So for me, it was good that we did not play. The other part of what the opponents are doing and what will happen, it's not in our control. We just focus on the players, getting them prepared for the next match. But personally, I thought it was good that we didn't play because the players had an opportunity to rest.
Coach, I just want to go back to the issue of transfers, but not necessarily about signing new players. And I've seen you in some tournaments. We've met there, and also I've seen also some other guys from the club. I don't think they know that we know that they're from the club, but we meet some of them. But I think Pirates in the last 2 to 3 years has done something that was not there before, or done things differently. What can you say about the approach that you've taken? Because sometimes some of the players who are shining now at the club are players who are not necessarily prominent at their former teams in terms of how you just even profile your talent just before it comes here.
It's a big work. It's a number of stages that the club is engaged in. Credit given to management for formulating such a system where the recruitment, like you have indicated, DDC players that are recruited from outside, young players, and them performing. For me, it's just systematic from the top that the approach has changed, where we're not only buying what is in the market, we are also promoting from within our structures. And again, the approach from the coach and the methodology of training, where young players are given an opportunity. Nkota is opportunity. In the absence of Saleng, he scores 2 goals. For me, how he trains the team for the readiness of everybody that is within the structure. For me, credit should be given in that department. That one, everybody who's training at Pirates is ready to perform at any time. It's not the presence or absence of any player. I thought it's just an institution who has made these changes so that we adopt this approach, and it has worked for the club.
Final question. Last two. Tim, right? Yeah. Tim.
My question is twofold, Coach. The first part of it is, what is the stability in the technical team in terms of the years that you and Coach Ribeiro spent in the team, planned for the team's quest for the championship? And what is it about you and Coach Ribeiro that makes this such an ideal technical player?
Generally, any system that has got time behind it is always better. You can look at Stellenbosch with Steve Parker, where he started and where he is now. All teams that have kept the technical teams the longest tend to perform better. Whether that is correct, but in my understanding, it's always the better option. The coach and I, he's very professional. I can talk about him. Very professional is an approach. He's very accommodative to young players. He works very hard. He arrives here at 8. He just left now. He is a professional coach that has taught all of us in Africa and in South Africa that professional coaching does not necessarily mean 2 hours. It means coming from the morning. So the adoption of us understanding what happens in Africa and him bringing the European mentality has worked well for the club. We try and assist each other, we respect each other's territory. I give him the support to the best of my ability. He's open and we share ideas where they need to be shared. And I think it's working for the club.
You mentioned Saleng, I think that's something good as
Who?
It's okay. I'm looking at this, the magnitude of this game, and with what is happening. Please take us through the conflict management among big name players within the squad. How do you deal with that? I mean, surely we all saw what happened on socials and stuff like that. How do you deal with conflict management within the squad that you have? And to the captain, your message to the Pirate supporters and in general the football supporters, since this match is one of the biggest in the calendar of our football.
Should I start? Thank you for the question. Yeah, I mean, look, the message is always the same. Please, keep on supporting us. Keep on giving us the edge that we need in games. We appreciate it. We feel it when we play. because at the end of the day, we do it for them. You know, when we win, it's for them, so that we can all celebrate and we remain happy people. And yeah, I mean, look, we want the supporters to be safe. I know they'll come in numbers. I know they'll be there early, so thank you in advance for that. Yeah, it's gonna be a big day for them. It's gonna be an occasion for the supporters. You know, unfortunately for us as players, our job remains the same: is to play football, focus on your execution, and make sure that you go out there and do the best of your abilities. But yeah, it's an exciting match for the supporters, a big game for them. And we thank them in advance for arriving at the stadium early and making sure that they're safe.
We are blessed with a very mature technical team. Maybe age is also saying that we're quite old, so we're fathers in our own right. And like in any family, you will always have this among your sons, especially players. Players are human beings, which is one part that we normally forget. If you don't play them, they won't be happy. If you substitute them, it's not new. It happens in every club. But the coach is so mature and is such a father to the whole group that these things are easy to manage. You understand when players are not happy because they are substituted. It's not something that's happening today and it's going to end. It's going to happen in future. But what becomes important is to try and manage them, manage the players and indicate that they will get opportunities irrespective of what the reason is. It's going to happen. It's not a big issue. We just manage it and put the hand around their shoulders that you will get the opportunity in the next game. That's why we are 45 or we are 30 in clubs.